There's gonna be a brighter day. Don't worry. When life gets you down, feel the pain all around. Keep the love in your heart and hold your head high. Harbor no hate. Greed
Welcome to the Let That Go show with Kassira McKee and Richard Skipper. This show is based on Kassira's book, Let That Go, where she guides people in completely blessing and releasing people, places, and all kinds of things. Kassira and Richard share personal insights and experiences based on concepts in Kassira's book, with guests and you, their co-hosts. Are you ready to let that go? Let's go.
Hello, Kassira.
Hi.
It is so
Hello.
I am so thrilled to be here because this has been a very interesting week. And talk about letting go. Summer is not letting go of New York. It's 80 degrees in New
Yes,
York
I hear.
today. 80 degrees, and it just incredible weather that we're having here. It's a little rainy right now, but it's wonderful. Washing away the sins of the world, I like to think of. And so much is going on right now. This, of course, is an election week. There's so much going on. And Doug McAllister is here. And Doug, I don't know if you can see right over my head, but my spirit animal, which Doug and I talk about our spirit animals. My spirit animal is looking right over my head. I don't know.
What color is the crow?
The crow is black.
Okay, but you know what? Your crow is not black, it's white.
It is white?
Yes, it's white.
Okay.
I'm going to find you a white crow.
Okay, find me a white crow.
I'm going to find you because you're a white crow.
Well,
there are such things as white crows.
Well, of course there are.
You're unique, and I feel like the white crow is that's your totem.
Well, I'm going with what I was sent by Doug. So
I know
the black crow. So here we are. But
Yeah,
guess who we have in the wings?
my love of all time. My lover love. I love him so much. We've known each other for over 30 years from LA. Erron Gralore.
Yes, let's bring him on. I have been looking forward to this. I love doing this with Kassira, but Erron, I love having you here when you're here.
Yeah.
And this is, we're going into a full moon phase. It's a full moon will be in Taurus. There's an eclipse this week, everyone. So there are all kinds of things happening. Kassira, myself, we've been talking about letting go of certain things, shifts in our lives, things that are happening. And there are major shifts happening in my life right now. And it's all good because I really have, I will be very honest with all of you, in the last few weeks, been feeling down on myself for a myriad of reasons. Maybe Erron will be able to shed light on that today. The moonlight, of course. Right. Yes. And, but as I am making decisions moving forward, I am finding that I feel like intense burdens that are hanging on me are being lifted. And if I can just go here for just a moment, Kassira and I are part of a book group based on Kassira's incredible book, Let That Go, which is available on Amazon.com, everyone, if you don't already have it. But this past week, we talked about expectations, and I realized that certain expectations that I have had have been bogging me down. And we'll talk about that as we get deeper into the trenches here, because you both know where I am with a few things. So I'm going to turn it over to either Kassira or Erron. And she's drinking out of a wonderful mug, I think. So
My
it's all
Richard
yours.
Skipper mug. Yeah.
Yes.
I will have some Let That Go mugs someday, I promise.
Yes.
When I have the time to make it happen. Like, where's that going to come from? I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Well, I just saw Natasha says that she has been in the ocean, and the water is so healing. I'm a water sign, and it's so healing water. And Aaron's a water sign, and Richard is the water bearer. He's an Aquarius,
Mhm.
so we have a perfect triad here of water people. This is the time of year that is a huge honoring of the Orisha Yemaya. Yemaya is the goddess of water. She's the goddess of the oceans. There's another goddess of rivers, but she's really the goddess of water. And I'm a Yemaya girl. That's my Orisha. And Natasha, I thank you for getting in the water. It's so healing. Going to the beach and putting your legs in the water is so healing. So good for you, baby. Yes, I've been facilitating and co-creating some changes as well. There's a lot of people who have, especially in our book group, which we can't
Mhm.
talk about because it's private. Yeah, there's a lot of change going on, and especially with this moon. Erron and I have talked about the Beaver Moon, which is also called the Frost Moon. We've had several conversations about it, and here's the bottom line. Yes, Native Americans and the old and pioneer days, they called it the Beaver Moon because beavers start building their little dams and where they can hide out for the winter, and they start preparing for the cold weather. And yet, I think of it as a time where we all get to build and rebuild. And the other side of that is, these beavers build these as a team. It's teamwork. And this is also a time for us human beings to look at our collective karma and our collective consciousness and what we're building together right now. Erron, you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, of course we're in Scorpio season. That's why we have a full moon in Taurus because it's at the opposite end of the wheel. Scorpio's deep. Scorpio is the really, really intense, deep, heavy, feelings. I mean, Richard, you just said you've had a tough 2 weeks of it, and it sounds like it corresponded with us moving into
Can I
Scorpio.
jump in for just a second, Erron, on that?
Sure.
Scorpio is my rising sign.
And it's also my rising sign.
I see.
Wow. And November 7th,
Yeah.
which is coming up in just a couple of days,
Mhm.
was my mom and dad's wedding anniversary.
Wow.
It was my maternal grandmother's birthday. My niece was born on the 7th, and I have one other aunt and uncle that were also married on that date.
Well, happy birthday, happy anniversary to all our Scorps out there. I know a ton of people. There's Scorpio right around 7, 8, 9. And my dad is Scorpio, my sister, just so many people. It's very deep. And I'm going to give you a quick picture. So the Earth, this time of the year, we're going into winter, right? And so the southern part of the Earth is going into their summertime. Basically, we can say that the below the equator is being lit up, is being heated, is being brought up, is being illuminated. So for us, we can look at it as things in our life that have been below the equator, below the surface of our daily existence, that just keep piling on. They're good, bad, and ugly, whatever they are. Now it's being illuminated. All this stuff below the equator is, and I mean the equator of consciousness, subconscious things going on, things that we've repressed maybe for lifetimes and this lifetime. These are all coming, being revealed. The interesting thing about the full moon is that it's like a big light in the sky that reveals. So we have this revelation of what has been repressed or just ignored, or maybe now is the time for these things to bubble up. Everything, I always say everything is happening in divine timing, which means we can't know this plan. There are too many moving parts, and we shouldn't try to know the plan. I don't like to use the word should or shouldn't, but in this case, I'll say we should not try to know.
It would be futile.
It would be. It's a lot
It'd
of
be a futile
energy.
use of energy. Yeah.
Right. So
Mhm.
what we do is when something comes up, that means, oh, let's deal with it now. Oh, there's a fire on the stove. Let's put it out now. Sort of, hopefully there's no fire
Yeah.
on the stove.
Mhm.
But as these things come up now, we have this opportunity, and the moon says, hey, look, you're feeling anxious because, now's the time for you to deal with this particular thing. Take some deep breaths. I want you to see it so you can deal with it. Now, this is always a full moon sort of ritual that we want to. I would say it would be a good idea to allow ourselves to ritualize this and make it, practice. It's fun. Oh, look, new full moon's coming up. Things are gonna new moon, plant some seeds. Now I drew some cards and some runes, and they are all talking about the revelation of hidden things. I'll show you these runes real quick that I pulled.
Ooh, would you pull? I have some beautiful runes.
Yeah, I'll
Okay, which one is
describe
that?
what they mean. This one is. Let me pull this up for you real quick. Hold on. I bookmarked it.
Should I go get my runes? Should I go pull my runes?
If you want.
Yeah, let me go grab my
This is
runes.
not painful.
I have some glass ones. Hang on.
Oh wow.
This is the initiation Perth, and something hidden. This is about a secret matter. So with Scorpio, we have a lot of secrets. Okay. Now, I also want to acknowledge the moon in Taurus, which is my rising sign. It's about comfort. It's about home, family. These kind of the nurturing of our self so that we can grow. So it's interesting that we have this depth on one side, and on the other side we have this nurturing, and they're looking at each other like, am I nurturing my depth? Am I nurturing who I am deep on the inside? Am I really, really looking, what did I forget that was so important to me, maybe when I was 7 years old, maybe when I was 20 years old? What did I just say, oh, no, I can't be bothered, or somebody else wants me to do something else, so I'm going to just push this down. This is our opportunity to look at that. Now, we also have that eclipse, which is very interesting.
Oh boy. But you know what's interesting, Erron? Right? What just popped into my head was, full moons are always a time of reflection, right?
Mm-hmm.
Typically.
Yeah.
But think of the sun is reflecting onto the moon.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a time of reflection. It's a planetary time of reflection.
Mm-hmm.
And then during this lunar eclipse, there's no reflection.
Right.
What does that mean?
Yeah, that is reflected. It's interesting because one of I drew some cards, and I'm getting lots of deep messages.
Okay.
I don't want to go into all of them because they're
Go into it. Go into it, baby. Go into it. Do it. Do your thing.
One of the other runes that I pulled was, because you pull 3 of them typically. We have a gift in this union that we're experiencing right now. We have the gift is, once this thing is revealed, it's going to be a flash. When we have these eclipses, we have flashes of insight, because it's showing us back and forth. We can't process these things quickly. Now, I was listening to a podcast last night of someone. I don't remember his name because I have to go back and study him a little bit, but he was saying he developed a technique for setting goals and really implementing these goals. But he got it in a flash. He was driving. Now, that's the most inconvenient place to get a flash, when you're driving, because you can't do anything about it. He got this thing, and he said it took him 6 months to finally put it all together, but he knew everything in that moment. And see, that's what's happening right now. The reason I heard that last night, of course, divine timing, was because we're going to receive those flashes right now. We're starting to receive them. I'm based on what the 2 of you are saying, that we're getting this. I know I'm supposed to be in New Orleans. I know I'm supposed to be doing these other things. All this stuff is saying, Boom. That's it. Now, the other part of it, this is very interesting because the last rune I drew reflects what we should do about this. Now, this is the it's called Thorisas, and this is the gateway, the god of Thor, and this is a place of non-action. And I'm going to explain non-action because we think non-action just sit on the sofa and become a couch potato, but no. Non-action means we contemplate where we are, who we are, and perhaps how we got here. We can look back and say, these were my choices, either my choices to not do something or my choice to actively do something. Or it may have been all that was available at the time. We look at it all. Just look, absorb, sit with it, cozy up to it. Kassira and I were talking about this idea of this Beaver Moon, and one of the things that we got was cozy up. Wrap yourself in a blanket. Just allow it, like you're sitting there with hot cocoa with marshmallows on top, and you're watching your favorite movie, and you're glancing out the window as it snows or whatever. It's not snowing in New York, but it snowed in New Mexico. And cozy up to these ideas, cozy up to, wow, this is what I did. This is where, now when I say what I did, we might think, oh, I didn't have anything to do with it, but we are in this situation, which means we are participating in it. We didn't accidentally fall here.
Yeah. We co-create.
We're
co-creating.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at, what I really am looking at is, in this Beaver/Frost Moon, what are we building?
Mm-hmm.
It's not about, it's about what we individually would like to build. It's about what we're building together, because part of this is collective karma and collective consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it we desire to build together? Are we all on the same page about something? What I'd like to ask everybody, hi, okay, can I say hi to everybody?
Yes.
Hi, Sherry. Hi, Natasha. Hi, Dee. I love my Dee. Hi, Erron. Hi, Barbara. Barbara's new, and she is a friend of Sherry's. Hi, my love, Doug. And Alan's here. Guys, what do we think we would like to build together? What do you think? Here's a question. What do you think all of us are on this page in the show together for? Why do you think we're here together?
Let's throw it to Richard.
On the Let That Go show. Richard, why do you think we're all here together?
Well, I think it's building a sense of community, number one.
Yes.
And I think that we all, obviously, and Kassira and I, with her book, we have struck many chords since we started doing this together. But this particular show, thanks to Erron and the energy that you bring to the show, also strikes a very strong chord with everybody. So I believe that everyone is looking for this spiritual enlightenment right now. And can I use this as a segue to talk about my big change that's going on? And there's a reason I want to do this, because, and many of you know this, I've made a decision to leave Facebook. And there have been many things that have been popping up in my mind over the last few months about this, but then something happened last week, and it was the catalyst for me. And when I made that decision, I truly felt like an anvil was lifted right off of the back of my back and was just being taken away. That's the imagery of it.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened was that the director of my last show died last week.
Mm.
And when I found out about it, it was, a gut-wrenching moment for me. And we created a show called The Magic of Believing, which is the story of my leaving South Carolina to come to New York. And when I got the news, the first person that I called was my musical director. And I said, "Did you hear that Jay had passed away?" And he said, "Well, yes, darling, I knew that this morning." I said, "Well, why didn't you call me?" There are two parts to this. I said, "Why didn't you call me?" And he said, "Well, I figured you of all people would know because you're always on Facebook," which is not true. First of all, I'm not always on Facebook. And number two, it was like an epiphany moment for me because I believe that, uh, and Mark Zuckerberg, his goal is that by 2027, all of us are interacting within the metaverse. And so I feel that when we hear of someone passing, whether it be a celebrity or someone that we personally know, everyone wants to rush to put a selfie of themselves up or to put their little anecdote about it. And then they move to the next item on their news feed. And I feel that we have lost this connection. I'm speaking primarily about myself when I say this, everyone, but I will speak for myself. I can't speak for everyone else. This feeling of losing the time that is needed to grieve and to mourn before moving on to the next item. And somehow it seems to me as if social media, as I see it, has zapped that human connection away from us. And that a lot of people will go on to post about a show, they will post a picture of them holding up their playbills at the theater or a picture of their food and it's very interesting that those very people that are posting this are very rarely reaching out to other people to say, "Would you like to join me in this experience? Would you like to join me in the experience of going to a nice restaurant? Would you like to join me in the experience of going out to dinner?" But instead, it's almost as if it's bragging rights to post it on social media to say, "Look at what I've done." And for me personally, it's I was talking to a friend about this, and she said, "Richard," and she's right. She said, "Facebook is bringing out the worst in you because you're making a judgment call." And Kassira, this goes to the expectations. This is you are making a judgment call on how you expect other people to respond to the news that you would get when you hear that someone has passed away or something. And I said, "You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right." And I feel that the best thing for me to do is to step away from this so that I know that those who care for me and those who matter in my life are not going to throw me by the wayside, that we will still find ways to communicate with one another. But I think that social media is giving us a false sense of how we are truly communicating with one another. And that by posting something about an event or something, rather than being actively involved in it, whether it be activism or getting out and doing the things that we need to do, it's taking the place for me of real life. And it's just becoming like journal entries that we post about instead of being living it. And so
my question to you is, what are you building instead?
I am building a new way of communication.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I'd like to shout out to Dee for a minute, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
Dee, is it okay if I read your post? I love that although we all create in different ways, we're a community of creators who strive to understand. I'd like to change that language and say who agree to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't necessarily believe it must be a struggle. We're agreeing, this group right here is agreeing to understand. And on that note, I'd like to say to you, Richard, I have a shitload of friends. Yes, I said shitload. I've had friends in my life for 45 years. And they're still in my life. They're friends with me on Facebook. There are only 2 or 3 people on my whole list of almost 1,000 friends that watch the show or that have the book. They ignore the book, they ignore the show, and it's fine. I don't, whatever they want to do. However, Um, I feel like people believe that they don't have anything to let go of. And as humans, I believe we have something to let go of a daily.
Mhm.
It's just we're just so used to holding on to things that we just hold on to them, and we don't want to talk about letting them go.
Well,
And let me finish. I post about this show, and I get replies from people in this beautiful group we have here. Yet nothing from these people I've known for 45 years. And I just find it interesting that then I post pictures of snow on my property 2 days ago or the sunset, and I get all these responses, ooh, snow, ooh, a sunset, ooh, your dogs. Well, yeah, but this is the other thing I do is my this Let That Go book and this show, and they're like, yeah, we're not interested. There's a lot of I'm not judging everybody. Please don't get me wrong, okay? Yet I feel like people don't, we have fun on this show. We talk about a lot of different fun things. And I think they just don't want to be serious about that kind of stuff. I don't know what it is. Yet
can
I'm
I
not
address it?
judging. I'm not judging them. And I'm just reflecting. I'm just observing. Okay.
Reflecting moon.
And reflecting and observing. And
Yeah.
also, I use Facebook as I have friends on Facebook. I keep in touch with people in Japan and England and all over Italy, all my friends all over the world. We keep in touch on Facebook. And everything I post goes to Instagram. I just left Twitter. I'm not interested particularly in TikTok. It's not really my thing. It's not really for me. But
It's
also,
going
I'd like to read. Dee also said, Richard, I think that's a segue. How about this title for our show, Understanding Energy Boundaries in the Internet Age?
We
How
are
to
doing an
navigate.
evening together talking about boundaries on the internet. So
Oh,
she's
interesting.
referring
Okay.
to we've been talking about a show that the two of us are going to do for one evening. But I
And
want
then,
to.
but wait, and then Alan says there's a confluence of energy and synergy among this expanding circle. I agree, Alan, absolutely. We're constantly processing insights and revelations that have always been there in the one mass conscience. Yes, 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 absolutely. Um, and then, oh, thank you, Dee. Dee says, yes, love it, consent, and agree to understand. Um, and Sherry says, we're here together because we are on the same page. Other people may not be aligned with you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of people not aligned with me as personally. Happens to me too, Kassira. The people who know you can take your work for granted. Yes, that's absolutely true. And Sherry says yes. And then Alan says, our physical body's cells naturally turn over in cycles. They let go to make way for fresh, refreshed life. That's true. That's why I love this group. We're on to something here. It's taken us a while, Richard, because we started this a long time.
Yes,
We
I
started
know.
this a year ago, right?
Yes, but I would like
Okay.
to address something that you just said.
Yeah.
Because this was something I mentioned to both Erron and Kassira before today's show, that I listened to this interview, Harvey Brownstone's latest interview with his career coach. And he talked about this idea that those of us, and Erron, in your business, we'll see how this relates to you. But Kassira and I are both, number one, in show business. And Kassira, on top of that, has a book that she's written. And I think that those of us who are in this profession, and I've gone through this with my virtual show, with this show, and with so many things, it's very difficult for us sometimes to separate ourselves from the work that we're putting out there. And the work that we're putting out there is not who we are. It's just an offshoot of who we are. And I think in the example that he uses, which I think is brilliant, if I was to come to you, Kassira, and say, here, I want to give you my cell phone. I want you to have it. And you were to say to me, well, what am I going to do with your cell phone? The contacts that are in your cell phone are not my contacts. I'm not going to be able to use this. And after, are you going to pay for me to continue to use this cell phone? Or are you going to, why are you giving me this? I don't want it. And I don't think that you personally would take that as a reflection on you, that they just do not want your cell phone. And yet, when it comes to our work in this business, we somehow are not able to separate the two. And the hard fact is that, and I say this with many of my friends and family and everything, I've had, thousands of friends on Facebook. And you bring up an interesting point earlier. I can post, Kassira and Erron and I are doing a show tonight. Please tune in. To do one of these three actions is like asking people to grab the moon, and that is to either like, comment, or share.
Mhm.
It could sit there for 6 hours and nobody could say anything. 6 hours later, I could come back to that same page and put underneath that, oh my God, I lost a button. And 500 people will respond to the fact that I lost a button. Did you lose the button outside? Did you lose the button inside? Maybe your dog got the button. Maybe Danny got the button. Are you sure that you lost the button? I mean, it's amazing what people choose to respond to on social media and what they choose not to respond to. And
and then but we get back to the topic of expectations.
Yes.
Do we expect people to like it and watch, or do we just allow people to just be who they are and not do anything if they don't want to? You said something that reminds me of what I write about in my book, and I don't even know where it is. My book is vast. I do write about the fact that we're not writers, we're not actors, we're not singers, we're not pharmaceutical people, we're not managers, we are human beings that do those things.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I mentioned his name in the book, but I do shout out to him. Herbie Hancock, who's a fellow Nichiren Buddhist. I've been in meetings with him, and he's said some really amazing, prolific things. And one of the things he said in a meeting was, you are not what you say you do. You're not a musician. You're not a writer. You're not a singer. You're not a dancer. You're a human being who does those things. So when people go, what are you? What do you do? And I say, and it throws them off guard, I'm a human being who writes and sings and works in the medical industry. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I told Erron recently that that it just I'm the first to admit I'm disappointed that my hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of friends don't watch the show and don't get the book and don't do the work yet. Because I think the planet would be a better place if people read books like this and did the work implemented it, not just mine, but a lot of other things. I think the world would be a safer place and a happier place. Yet we can't make people do any of that. It's what resonates with them. And as I think it's Dee or Sherry said it earlier, we're not on the same page. I think it was Sherry. Yet they're not on my page when it comes to this stuff. Mm-hmm. They're still my friends and I still know them. And so their page is not this book or this show or what I teach. Their page is pictures that I post of snow and the sunset.
Well,
that's it. The beautiful thing is, this group, when we first started with a handful of people, and look at all the people that watch, that are working it and doing it, and and we're here together. What is beautiful about this group is that we're co-creating this change together. We're co-creating it without expectations. Would it be nice if other people were on our page? Sure, it would be. If they're not, okay. I'm delighted that we've got this family of, and somebody said it, 2 people said it. We're a new family. We're a new family of let goers. I call you LTGers, by the way. We're LTGers, and we're on this page together. And we're all letting go of stuff together, which is a beautiful thing. So that has me not be concerned at all. That has me not be concerned. There's a group of us that are on the same page, and you don't have to agree with everything I write about or teach or say. I love it that people are communicating right now in live with each other about these ideas. They're just ideas. And I say at the beginning of the book, you don't have to listen. Just go in the dressing room and try it on. You don't have to pick out China patterns You don't have to hang curtains. If you don't want to stay, you don't want to live here, it's okay. Just try it on. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like more and more and more people are trying this on. We have a wonderful, fabulous woman in the book club who went to see her sister in Italy. Her sister, my book is available all over the world, by the way, in any Amazon platform, just so you know. People in Japan can buy it. Yes, it's in English. But people all over the world can get this book on Amazon. And her sister got the book on Italian Amazon and started working the book. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. You know what I mean? That's really cool.
Mhm.
Hey, okay, so can we play with cards and runes and stuff now and have some fun?
Yeah, I just had a couple of thoughts while we're preparing the decks of cards and whatnot. Scorpio, one of the frequencies of Scorpio is to let go and seek the depth, the spiritual, the oneness. And the opposite, Taurus, is all about collecting. Okay, we got to gather the seeds to plant them. We got to collect the tools. We got to get the, cozy up means you got to have a sofa or bed, or, you got to have a comfortable blanket. You got to have, so it's about getting these things. Scorpio is about getting rid of these things so that I can be free to do basically something brand new that I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing, or the idea is to be surprised. Now, the reason that came up is because we're seeing, and the other thing too was I wrote this down just this morning before we started the show, was let go of sadness, sorrow, and grief. And I'm deeply sorry for your loss and everyone's loss, Richard, because
Thank you.
I was shocked when you said that. I thought, whoa, okay, what is that? But
4 this past week.
4, wow, okay, wow.
Yeah.
So the opportunity is to look at the grief, to look at it, to cozy up to it. This is the only time you'll get to do this for this person. Really. If you do it any further, it's just torture for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
When we carry on, oh, my mom died 40 years ago, I'm just torn up. You miss the opportunity then to interact with her on a different level.
Mm-hmm.
But now we get comfortable. We say, this is that grief. We just dig into it to the point where we can see ourselves maybe we can separate ourselves out of it and say, wow, this is what I am when I'm grieving, or this is a grieving process. This is fascinating. And look how it hurts. Oh, but it doesn't completely hurt. There's a joy in it too, because I'm actually reflecting on these beautiful moments that I've had with these people, with these places, with these things. And I'm looking at it from all sides, and the grief then will feel it turn. We'll feel it turn to love, to what the purity of love. Now, of course, Taurus is a Venetian sign. The planet of Venus is related to Taurus, which is the sign of love. But she's looking back directly at this depth of all this other stuff. And in order to we always hear this, in order to really truly love, you have to experience some loss. In order to really truly grow, we have to know what it is to not grow. We have to know pain in order to know joy. But we have to know them. We can't say, oh, I saw it over there once or twice. We have to know that when somebody says I lost someone, we can say, whoa, that hurts me too. I can feel that. So we say that so that we can reflect back to you the love we have for you, Richard, for the love we have for you, Kassira, for all the people watching. We can say, I'm reflecting back to you now this love that's coming through me. Mm-hmm. I can't necessarily say that it's completely mine, because it surprised me that it's coming through me. It's coming through me to you. So we're opening these channels, but that's because we're allowing ourselves to be in it completely. Got off tangent there a little bit, but anyway.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. I want to go back to something that Kassira said just a moment ago very quickly, and then I will be quiet on this. But today, for example, is National Basketball Day. Now, I am not a huge basketball fan. I would not want to go to a basketball game tonight, but there's a huge contingent of people that are going to go to that basketball game. The fact that I don't go to that basketball game doesn't make it any less or any less meaningful It's just that it's not a part of what I want on my plate right now.
Right.
And it's the same thing with this show and other things. I do believe, as you said, things unfold in their own time. And we are building this community. And it's, and it may one day surprise us, and we may, have 2,500 people tuned in at one time. It would be a wonderful thing to happen. It may happen, it may not happen. But again, that's the expectations that Kassira talks about and so brilliantly in her book.
I'd like to piggyback on Erron a minute. On page 95 of my book, actually on page 94, I start talking about grief. Grief is a multi-layered onion. Grief is a recipe of feelings that is so intense and multi-layered. It requires peeling away like an onion. It's good to be aware when the feelings are coming up so that we can process them properly in order to let them go. Why? Grief can kill our emotions, spirit, and the physical body. Some people drink or eat themselves to death or overdose when they don't process feelings of grief and let them go. It's true. I've known people who have died after their spouse died because they didn't want to live anymore. Something that I can't believe I'm going to say this. I might cry. Debbie Reynolds, after the death of her daughter. Debbie Reynolds died the day after her daughter.
Yep.
That was, you know what? When that happened, I was like, damn, was that a soul contract or what?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. And they had a very unique soul contract.
They argued all the time, but they loved each other. But they literally, somehow they could not live without each other.
Right.
So I do write 2-3 pages on grief. So if you have the book, please read the pages I write on grief, 94, 95, 96. It's grief is a recipe of feelings. It's not a true feeling recognized in the psychological world. It is a culmination of feelings in the psychological world. And I, people, there's a different kind of grief that comes with, people dying of overdoses. We lost 2 more celebrities today of overdoses. Yeah.
Wow. God,
Aaron Carter, Nick Carter's brother. We lost him today of an overdose. We lost another star. I can't remember her name. She was on a TV reality show. She died of an overdose today. People are leaving. They're leaving. I think their souls want to leave. I think that's what's going on. Okay, so anyway, thank you, Richard. Thank you, Erron. Okay, Erron, getting back to the full moon and what it means to us as a group. This is the rune I pulled.
Oh wow.
Oh, okay.
I don't have my rune book. Do you have your rune book?
That is exactly the one I drew.
What?
And it's the same color as the background today.
Yeah, that's the one I drew. Yours is glass.
Are you kidding me?
No.
This
right
is
here.
okay. These are hand-painted glass runes. They're aqua blue that were given to me by Linda Petty in Dallas, and I have them in a crystal bowl.
Okay.
And oh my gosh, that's the same one are you kidding?
Yeah. No.
Wow. Okay. Okay. And I also drew 3 cards for our group. Okay. And these are, I have lots of cards, and I've got some more. I don't think I can have enough divination cards. I'm going to have a library of divination cards. For some reason, Michael Beckwith's deck, the Life Liftoff cards, those spoke to me today.
Oh, look at that.
And here's what I drew for the group of us having a collective consciousness, collective karma in building what we're building right now. Building a society of people that can let things go, not be so damn judgmental, and just let's be less judgmental of why people don't watch and why they're not on our page. Let's just kind of be. Can we agree to maybe try that on to be less judgmental? Because when there's judgment, I write about judgmentalism in my book. I've had people tell me, oh yeah, your book. Well, I don't have anything to let go of, but my friend Cindy, oh man, she has a lot to let go of, and she could really use your book. That person's being judgmental.
Right.
You don't have anything to let go of, but you're judging this other person that has a whole lot to let go of. You're being judgy right now. You're judging this other person. That's judgy,
Right.
you know. So even though I observe all these other things that are happening of people I've known for years and I watch the show, I'm not judging them. I'm observing it, and I'm going, "Oh, isn't it interesting that this does not interest people I've known for 45 years?" Okay, all right, I accept that. Yet look at all these beautiful people with us today. We get it. You get it, and I love that. Okay, so here's the first card I drew for the Michael Beckwith. Have heavenly conversations.
Oh my God. I drew a card similar to that.
Most of the verbal conversations you have with others are actually with yourself. They result from the consistent inner dialogues you have within your own mind and then become the subjects and energy of your conversations. Experiment with changing your inner talk. I love that. And see how this practice reflects in your outer verbal expressions and sense of well-being. So what card did you choose that was like this, darling?
Well, this is a new deck to me. Angels and Ancestors Oracle deck. Beautiful deck.
Oh,
And
ooh.
I just pulled this one out. This one it says, Star Ancestors, follow the voice of
Ooh.
your soul.
Ooh, I
And
love that.
there's this handsome fellow here from a different star system. We don't know where. But it's the same thing. We're given information. It's there waiting for us. When our vessel is ready to receive it, we have to do this Zen thing where you dump everything out, and then it can fall right in. And let's see oh yes, and we have the detoxifying. Yes, that's part and parcel of what we're talking about. You know, detoxifying, empty everything. And when we empty, we see that the universe, physical universe, abhors a vacuum. As soon as there's a vacuum, something is in it. So another practice I like to do is when something goes out, immediately put in something. And if I can't think of anything, I say I'm going to dump this out for the highest good of all concerned. And whatever comes in is for the highest good of all concerned. I may not be in a state of mind to think of I want ABC yet, whatever that might be. But at least I can say for the highest good of all concern. I'm here for the highest good of all concern. Let's do this for the highest good of all concern. And that means me, I'm part of that. You all are part of it. Everyone on earth, no matter what team they vote for, no matter what, how they cast their ballot.
Yes.
We say, let's do it all for the highest good of all concerned. And see, that's what I choose to experience. I'm going to say I'm going to actively choose that in this moment. Next moment, I might forget.
But you said from that card that we were members of the same star seed. So maybe this group is a member of the same
that
star
might
seed.
be. And therefore, we might not be resonating enough yet to get the other members of the group together. That came to me when you were both talking about it. It's that
the
frequencies have to go out. They have to pulse out. They have to, sometimes people wake up in a week and they'll tune in to the recordings and say, "Oh, wow, I missed that show."
It really speaks to me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Dee says, I would say Sirius or Orion. Well, Dee, I'm a Sirius girl. I'm a Venus girl, which makes me a Sirius girl, but Orion as well. And then I'd like to read the second card.
Mm-hmm.
Connect with the beauty in the storm.
Oh,
wow.
Okay.
Rather than capitulate to challenges, learn to connect with their transmuting energy. For example, when you feel intimidated, connect to the energy, but drop the storyline that birthed it. The stories we tell in our head. Okay, the stories. Ride on the energy itself and see how it transmutes into confidence. Don't get hooked on the story and work at storm prevention. See the cleansing, healing potential in the storm and open to its blessings. Richard, you drew a fantastic card. Would you like to share it with everybody?
Well, the first one I just showed said, detoxify, That's where we are. And the other one, this is, and I like this a lot. And this is for
What
you
is it?
and me.
Oh my God, look at that moon. And it's beautiful. That's beautiful. It's my planet.
Can you
Yeah.
read it?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
beautiful.
Your dreams and needs. Yeah. Wow.
Yes.
That's
And that's
beautiful.
where we are. I want to bring up a comment, Kassira, so that you can respond to this. And this
Yes.
is from.
Oh yeah, yes. Yes, D. Yes, you can. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
D can do that. Yeah, I'm into all that, D, so don't be afraid. Because I'm certainly brave. So anyway, read that card, Richard.
No, the card is that your dreams need a practical plan, and
Oh,
that's where I
okay.
am right now.
Yep.
Hmm.
So
Well,
they
I'll
don't
say you're
need, they
supported.
require. They don't need, they require.
Okay, I'm bringing on Danielle's comment. I feel strong Lyran lineages. Am I
Yeah.
pronouncing that right? Lyran
Okay.
or Lyran?
Byron.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
From between Vega and Regulus. Vega used to be our North Star here on
Yeah.
Earth.
Mm-hmm.
That's-
Yeah, I agree with you, D. I'm out there. I'm a woo-woo, so I get that. I totally get it. Okay, here's the last card. This is so weird because I just said, let's try not to be so judgmental of each other. Okay, you ready? Respect the self of others.
Yes.
This is how we're going to build together, people. Respect the selves of others. Let's try not to be so darn judgmental. Let's just try it on. Just make an attempt if you don't mind. It's easy for us to say, like for instance, Aaron Carter, to say, "Oh, he was a mess." Well, in our opinion, he might have been a mess, but we weren't him. We don't know. He had mental issues, and he medicated with drugs. I mean, I'm not lying. This was written in an article today. It was written in all the articles.
Mhm.
A lot of people with mental issues medicate with alcohol and drugs,
Mhm.
illegal drugs
Mhm.
that are not. Now we have a big fentanyl issue. We got a big amphetamine issue. As I've said before, and I work in the medical industry, oxycodone, everybody's running out of it all the time. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people are on oxycodone. They're on painkillers. They're in pain. And one of the things Richard knows that these two men know that I'm researching, which is why I'm in the pharmaceutical field, is I'm researching the top 100 drugs we take, what they're treating, and what the emotional, psychological root is of those illnesses. So here's the deal. If we treated the emotional, psychological roots of these things, we may not have these illnesses at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yet we are a medicated society. You got something wrong, we take something. You take a pill, you get a shot. Instead of looking at the basics. And I always send people back to I don't like the word always, but I'm going to use it today. I always send people back to Louise Hay. I've got her book Heal Your Body A to Z. It's a beautiful thing. We talked about it in our book club the other day, which I won't mention because it's private, but we talked about something really serious from that book the other day of that's concerned a physical manifestation of an emotional issue. Okay, now let me read this to you. Respect the self of others. You guys let me know what you think about this. Offer your respect and love to others by not seeking to manipulate or change them according to your design. When you realize that they are responding to their own inner guidance, you will honor the path they have chosen and the steps they take in life. Each soul has a unique romance with its source, and our contribution as a friend, parent, and beloved is to support them in it. I write about this in my book. When we get to the back of my book of the menu of affirmative prayers, I state, I'm going to just read you the template from the prayers in my book. Let me just read you the template.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the very reason that I wrote this. I write, it's on page 191 for any of you who have the book. The anatomy of the complete forgiveness affirmative prayer. Hang on a minute. There's so many prayers in the back of my book. Hang on. So here's the anatomy of it. I am who I am. I do what I do. I desire what I desire, and I require what I require. I am the only person I can control, and my soul is on its own journey of evolution. Next step. He or she is who they are. They do what they do. They desire what they desire, and they require what they require. They are also living expressions of the divine, as I am. I cannot control them, and she or he is on their own journey of evolution. Period. Knowing that I co-create and agree to this relationship, this is a forgiveness thing with people. I recognize that I am equally responsible for it. Therefore, I first bless myself and forgive myself for my agreement to participate in this relationship. And I thank this person for agreeing to have this relationship with me and for participating in my life experience and for the lessons. Period. We're all on our own journey. And we may not agree with other people's journeys because it makes us uncomfortable. We have a reaction of being uncomfortable. Yet, we're on our own journey. And I respect everybody for that. And Natasha says, my problem is I am more judgmental of myself than I am of others. That's not a problem. It's not a problem. It's just what you do.
It's an awareness.
And Natasha, this is not group therapy, but Natasha, if you can do that, you can do something else. Okay, if you can do that, then you can do something else. If it's uncomfortable and you don't like it, if you're looking at it like this way and go, I'm really judgy of myself. Look this way and go, I no longer judge myself. I am who I am. I do what I do. I desire what I desire, and I require what I require, and that's it. And if I feel I must change something about myself to be happier, or then I'll do it. And if I don't feel like it, I won't. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I think
okay, we got to stop.
No, I want to say something before we go into our ending.
Okay.
What you just said, I think, is the lesson for each and every one of us, especially this week as we go to the polls. Erron, thank you for what you just said. For the good of all concerned, as we cast our ballots and think of it in those terms. And what you just said of thinking, there's such conflict and divide in this country right now. If we can just try to empathize with those that disagree with us or see things through a different lens than we do.
Yeah.
Because every single person on this planet is where they are based on their life experiences and everything that has brought them to this moment.
Yeah.
So that we have.
But it goes beyond that. It also has to do with other lifetimes.
Right.
Yes.
And karma and experiences and karma we carry with us to each lifetime. There's beliefs that we come back over and over and over again, and do we accordingly get it right? I don't believe in getting it right. It is ascension. It's like, how much are we willing to ascend in each lifetime? And ascension and karma changing is of an opinion with everybody. Everybody has their own, opinion of what ascension is. And I don't. So when people say, I'm growing, I'm like, no, you're not. You're evolving. I don't like the word grow. I like the word evolution and evolving. And I think as a species, a lot of us are really evolving. I feel everybody in this group and everybody in the book club is really evolving. And because we're being really honest about stuff. You don't have to tell your whole life story and pull your guts out and show them to me. You don't have to pull out your intestines and go, here's my intestines. You don't have to do that. But just, we're helping each other when we talk about these things. You know what I'm saying? We're helping, we're assisting each other in evolving. And the more we evolve, the more we ascend into higher vibrational beings. This is what I write about in the book. It's about being a higher vibrational being. And the higher our vibration becomes, the more of that we attract. So the universe says, or higher consciousness says, oh, you like being in a high vibrational spot? I'm like, yeah. And it goes, okay, here's more of that. I'm like, zap. Ooh, I like that. I like it, So on that note, I'm going to ask Erron to start his singing bowl. We're going to do a quiet 5 minutes to the singing bowl And you can meditate on anything you like. There are no directions here. I'm not going to manipulate you or push you into doing anything. But however, I would like for you to consider this Beaver Frost Moon and consider what you'd like to build together with everybody around you. Meditate for the next 5 minutes on what you envision of building with everybody around you and in your life, not just in this group, but the yes, the evolution is often cyclic. Hello, yes, and spiralized, yes, and nonlinear. D, we need to have a conversation. But anyway, I'm gonna let Erron take over, and at the end, I would like. May I end the show, Richard?
Of course you can.
Okay, let's meditate to Erron. Erron, when you are done with your 5-minute singing bowl, if you could ring it with the gong 3 times to let everybody know that we're done.
Okay.
And then I'd like to close because I feel like this has been a really beautiful hour with everybody. Thank you, Richard, for your honesty. And I just love it. Well, you know I love you. And you're so honest with everybody. And there's so few people like that do what you do. They're like, oh, I know everything and you know nothing. Well, that's not Richard. Richard is really open. And Erron, I just thank you for being my brother from another father and mother and whatever. and so let's close our eyes. Let's take a deep breath. Everybody take a deep breath. Let's just get quiet. Hands up on your legs. Just make sure your hands are up on your legs. I feel really connected to all of you right now, and I just want to say how grateful I am for all of you, for trying on these ideas and letting go of so much. It's really, really, really a gift to the planet to let go. It truly, truly is a gift. And you are all, I see you all as balls of light in my mind right now, in my third eye, and just loving, amazing beings. I'm overwhelmed right now. I thank you so much, and we'll see you next week. Thank you so much.